Hello, my dear students. A very warm welcome to all of you in Shri Jayendra Rank Zone. I am your friend and mentor for the subject Principles and Practices of Accounting. In this lecture, we'll continue with Chapter 2, that is Accounting Process, and particularly we'll continue with Unit 6, that is Rectification of Errors. All the concepts will be covered in the series of lectures. Let's begin. In the previous lectures, we have already covered the MCQ part, multiple choice questions and theoretical questions, and in this lecture we'll start with the practical questions now. Let's see question number 1. The trial balance of Mr. W and H failed to agree, and the difference of 20,570 was put into suspense account, that is suspense pending investigation, which disclosed that 1. First, purchase return day book had been correctly entered and totaled at 6,160 but had not been posted to the ledger. Purchase return day book had been correctly entered and totaled at 6,160 but had not been posted in the ledger. Purchase return book is not posted to the ledger over here. So in the corrected entry, we need to pass entry for that. What is required? Just see it over here. Pass rectification entries without narration to correct the above errors before preparing annual accounts. Before preparing annual accounts means after preparing trial balance. After preparing trial balance. That is stage 2. That is stage 2. My dear students, I told you that rectification of errors can be bifurcated particularly in 3 stages. The first stage talks about detection of errors before preparation of trial balance. The second stage talks about detection of errors after preparing trial balance. And the third stage talks about detection of errors after preparing annual accounts, that is income statement and statement of financial position, which means profit and loss account and balance sheet. I hope you agree to it. Prepare a statement showing the effect of rectification on the reported net profit before correction of these errors. We'll do that. There is no problem. But let us read the whole question first. We have read the first one. Let's shift to the second one. Discount received rupee 1,320 had been debited to discount allowed account. We have received the discount. This is an income, but by mistake shown as discount allowed. That is shown as an expense. Just see the third one. The sales account had been under added by 10,000 rupees. We have decreased the sales by rupee 10,000. If you will decrease the sales, the profit will inflate obviously. The profit of the year will show 10,000 less and not more because you have decreased the sales. I believe you understood. Let's see fourth. A credit sale of 1470 had been debited to the customer at 1740. This is known as error of commission. Instead of 1470, we transferred or we debited what? We debited 1740. The next one, a vehicle bought originally for 7,000 4 years ago and depreciated up to 1200 rupees had been sold for 1500. My dear students, we had bought the vehicle at 7,000. This is historical cost. Depreciated to 1200. This is written down value. So today's value of vehicle is 1200 rupees. We have sold it for 1500 rupees. That means there is a profit on sale of vehicle which is 300 rupees. I hope you are clear till here. Let us continue. That an accrual of 560 for telephone charges had been completely omitted. Point number 6. An accrual for 560 for telephone charges have been completely omitted. Let's see the next one. A bad debt of 1560 had not been written off, and provision for doubtful debts have been maintained at 10% of the trade receivable account, which are shown in the trial balance as 23,390 with a credit provision of bad debt at 2,360. Okay, we'll solve it. Let's see the eighth one now. Tools bought for 1200 had been inadvertently debited to purchase, that is by mistake. So loose tools needs to be debited, but we had debited what? Purchase. We will rectify it, and we do not need any suspense account to rectify this because this is a double-sided error. We have an error in tools. We also have an error in purchases. Next, the proprietor had withdrawn for personal use goods worth 1970. This is drawings. But no entries have been made in the books. Fine, we will make entries in the books. Okay, fine. We'll continue. Let's start. Let's read the first one again. Purchase return day book had been correctly entered and totaled at 6,160 but had not been posted to the ledger. Okay, so we will post it to the ledger now. We will rectify it. Just do the solution along with me. First, so we will write to return outward account, that is purchase return, account. The amount is 6,160. So in the debit side, we'll debit what? Suspense account. Suspense account. Let's shift to question number 2. Point number 2. Discount received 1320 have been debited as discount allowed. So by mistake we have debited discount allowed. We'll do what? We will credit it. So we will write to discount allowed. To discount allowed account. The amount is 1320 over here. We will write to discount received. To discount received, and the amount is 1320 again. If we total it, it will come to 2640, and on the debit side, we'll use suspense account. Let's shift to the third one. A sale account has been under added by 10,000. So we will add sale by 10,000 more now. We will write to sales 10,000, to sales account 10,000. On the debit side, we will write suspense account. Suspense account debited to sales account. I think it is clear. Let's see the fourth one now. A credit sale of 1470 had been debited to a customer account at 1740. Students, in this point number 4, if you could just see, we need to debit customer by 1470, but actually we have debited customer by 1740. So 1740 minus 1470, this will give you 270, the figure of 270. So what we need to do it over here is we need to again credit the customer by 270. So let us shift to point number 4. To customer account 270. In the debit, we will write 270 debit. Suspense account debited 270. Let's see the fifth one now. A vehicle bought originally at 7,000 4 years ago and depreciated to 1200 had been sold for 1500. So there is a profit of 300. Okay, in the beginning of the year, but no entries other than in the bank account had been passed. So bank account is debited, but vehicle account is not credited, and profit on sale of vehicle is not credited. So we will credit it now. Bank account is already debited, so we will not debit it. To vehicle account. What is the book value of the vehicle? WDV 1200. 300 is the profit because we had transferred it at 1500. So 300 we will write profit on sale of vehicle. And on the debit side we will write suspense account. Suspense account debit. Let's shift to point number 6 now. This point talks about an accrual of 560 for telephone charges have been completely omitted. So we need to pass entry for telephone charges quickly. Complete omission. This is error of complete omission. Just write telephone charges account debit to outstanding expenses account and the value is 560. Just write 560. Seventh point, a bad debt of 1560 had not been written off and provision for doubtful debt have been maintained at 10% of trade receivables, which are shown in the trial balance as 23,390 with a credit provision of 2,320. So students, first we will pass an entry for maintaining this bad debt quickly, 1560. So seventh, bad debt account debit 1560, and over here credit would be trade receivable account. I hope you are clear. The next entry would be provision for doubtful debts. The next entry would be provision for doubtful debts. So just read it over here again. Provision for doubtful debts should have been maintained at 10% of trade receivable, which is shown in the trial balance as 23,390. And over here, a credit provision for bad debt is also given. So what we need to do it over here, that 23,390 is the balances of trade receivable. In point number 4, if you could just see it over here, we have recorded the customer wrong, and the difference is 270. That is 1740 minus 1470 is 270. We will rectify that error over here. So 23390 minus 270. Then we have a bad debt also 1560 minus 1560. If you deduct these two figures, you'll get what? 21560. On this 21560, we need to maintain a 10% provision for doubtful debts. That is 2156. In reality, we have maintained 2320. So we need to maintain 2156, but we have maintained more excess. That means 2320 minus 2156. Excess is 164. And accordingly, we will pass the entry. So just write it over here. Provision for doubtful debts 164 to profit and loss account 164. We'll shift to the 8th one now. Tools bought for 1200 had been advertently debited to purchase. Okay, we will correct that. So purchase will be credited. $1,200 and tools will be debited. 1,200. I think we are clear. Let's see the 9th one now. The proprietor had withdrawn for personal use goods worth 1960. No entries have been made. Okay. So this is an instance of drawing of goods. So we will credit purchase account. We will credit purchase account by 1960, and in debit we will do 1960, and this would be what? Drawings account. Drawings account. Is it clear to all of you till here? Let us move ahead now. Students, in this question, we also need to prepare a statement showing effect of rectification on the reported net profit. That means what? We need to prepare suspense account. So we need to prepare suspense account over here. Just check it out that how many times suspense is debited. So over here suspense is debited, suspense is debited, suspense is debited, debited. Over here it is debited. Okay. Let's try to solve it. Let's make the suspense account now. So this is part 2, suspense account. particulars debit, particulars credit. Just write it over here. Start from the first point. Suspense account debit 6160. So purchase return account will be on the debit side. To purchase return account 6160. Then suspense account discount allowed, discount received 1320, 1320, 1320, 1320. To discount allowed, to discount received. Clear? Let's move ahead now. Suspense to sales. So sales will be 10,000 over here. To sales 10,000. Suspense to customer. Customer 270. We'll record customer on the debit side. To customer 270. Over here it is suspense. Vehicle and profit on sale of vehicle. So to vehicle 1200. To profit on sale of vehicle, that is 300. We will close it. Just make a quick totals of this. 6160 plus 1320 plus 1320 plus 10,000 plus 270 plus 1200 plus 300 equals 20570. We will put it on the credit side. 20570 by balance. I hope it is clear. I hope it is clear. Students, as you can see in the opening of this question also, the question told us that there is a difference of 20570 on the suspense account, and we have rectified by passing the entries on the debit side. So this is by balance brought down 20570, and this is the way it is rectified. I believe you must have understood. Let us shift to question number 2 now. Just read the question. On going through the trial balance of Ball Bearing Company Limited, you find that the debit is in excess by 150. This was credited to suspense account. On a close scrutiny of books of following mistakes were noticed. What was the mistakes? Number 1, the total of debit side of expense account have been cast in excess of 50. The sales account has been total short by 100. One interim of purchase of 25 have been posted from day book ledger to ledger as 250. So this is a mistake. The sale return of 100 from a party has not been posted to that account through party's account has been credited. So party's account had been credited instead of passing it to party's account. A check of 500 issued to the supplier's account shown under trade payables towards his dues has been wrongly debited to purchases. A credit sale of 50 rupees has been credited to the sales and also to the trade receivable account. Over here, you are required to pass journal entries correcting the above, show how they affect the profits, and you also need to prepare suspense account. So we will start with first, that is by passing journal entries. Journal entries. Let's see the first transaction. The total of debit side of expense have been cast in excess of 50. So we will credit the expense. Expense will be credited to expense account, and in the debit we will write suspense account. So suspense account debited 50 to expense account. The next one, sale account has been total short by 100. We will credit the sales now. So to sales account 100. We will debit what? Suspense account. Let's see the third one. One item of purchase, that is 25, have been posted from the day book to ledger as 250. So what we will do over here, the mistake is of 250 minus 25, that is 225. The supplier needs to be debited. The supplier needs to be debited. That is creditor needs to be debited by 225, and in credit we will write to suspense. Let's move ahead. Point number 4. A sale return of 100 from a party has not been posted to that account, though the party's account is credited instead. Okay, so basically the sale return was 100 over here, and from a party have not been posted to that account, that is sales return account, though the party's account have been credited. But we have credited the party, that means the single-sided error. We only need to, over here, we only need to correct sales return account. That is point number 4. So sale return account 100, and credit would be nothing but suspense. Let's see the fifth one now. A check of 500 issued to the supplier account towards his dues as being wrongly debited to the purchase. Okay, so we have debited the purchase, so we need to credit the purchase, and we have given a check to the supplier, that means trade payable. Trade payable we have not recorded, we have recorded, and we will rectify that. So over here, a check of 500 issued to the supplier towards his dues, but so we should debit what? Trade payable account and credit bank, but over here has been wrongly debited to purchase account. That means we have credited the bank but debited the purchase account wrongly. So we will rectify that. Okay, just do it. So we will credit purchases account 500, and we will debit trade payables account. Is it clear? Let's see the sixth one now. Our credit sale of 50 have been credited to sales and also to trade receivable account. So there is a dual credit. We will rectify trade receivables account over here. There is a credit sale. That means there is a trade receivable, and also to the trade receivables account we have done that. So we'll rectify that. So in this entry, we have credited trade receivable by mistake, so we need to debit it. Trade receivable account debit 100 to suspense account 100. Clear? Let us make the suspense account now. Let us make the suspense account now. Suspense account needs to be debited 50. Over here needs to be debited 100. To expense 50. To sales 100. Over here needs to be credited 225. Trade payables 225. By trade payable 225. Fourth, needs to be debited sales return 100. Point number 4, suspense is credited, needs to be credited sales return by 100. So over here it would be 100 by sale return. Trade payable to purchases, nothing will come. And over here needs to be credited 100. That is trade receivable. By trade receivable 100. Let's see what was the difference in the trial balance in the beginning of the question. It was 150. 150 in excess, that is credit. Okay. So over here 150. Right. By difference in trial balance. Make a total of it. 225, 325, 425, 525, 575. Minus 150, 425. To balance carried down. Now this will come as a brought down balance. By balance brought down. I believe you are clear till here. Let's move to question number 3 now. Mr. A closed his books of accounts on September 30, 2016. In spite of the difference in the trial balance, the difference was rupee 830 in credit being short. It was carried forward in a suspense account. Following errors were located. What was the errors? A sale of 2,300 to Mr. Lala was posted to the credit of Mrs. Mala. So instead of recording sales in the books of Mrs. Mala, we have recorded the sales in the books of Mr. Lala. So we need to rectify that. Okay. Second, the total of return inward book for July 2016, 1240, was not posted in the ledger. Omission, error of omission. Freight paid on machine 5,600, posted to freight account, error of commission. While carrying forward, the total of purchases account on the next page, 65,590 was written as 56,950, error of commission. A sale of machine on credit to Mr. Mehta for 9,000 on 30th September 2016 was not entered in the books at all. The book value of the machine was 6,750. Error of omission. Pass journal entry to rectify the errors. Okay. Solution. We'll start from the first one. A sale of 2,300 to Mr. Lala. So we will debit Mr. Lala. Mr. Lala. The amount is 2,300. Is posted by mistake to Mrs. Mala. So Mrs. Mala, we will correct. Credit of Mrs. Mala. So we need to debit Mrs. Mala now. Mrs. Mala debit 2,300, and we will do what? In credit side to suspense account 4,600. The second entry would be a total of return inward book, sales return book for July 2016, 1240 was not posted to the ledger. Not posted to the ledger. Students, this entry will affect the profit. This entry will affect the profit, that is 1240. So we need to debit what? Profit and loss adjustment account for recording it. Profit and loss adjustment account, debit 1240, 1240 to suspense. Entry number 3. Freight paid on machine 5,600 was posted to freight account as 6,500. Okay. So over here, what we need to do is we have recorded it wrong freight. So machinery needs to be debited 5,600. We will credit what? Profit and loss adjustment account, because freight is a nominal account, 6,500. And the difference is 6,500 minus 5,600, that is 900 will transfer to suspense account. 900 we will transfer to suspense account. Clear? Let us shift to point number 4. While carrying forward the total of purchases account to the next page, 65,590 was written off 56,950. Just calculate a difference between them. So 56,950. The difference is 8,640. So it is to be rectified as we need to debit suspense account. What is the amount? The amount is 8,640. And we need to credit what? P&L adjustment. So profit and loss adjustment account needs to be credited. Let us see the fifth entry. A sale of machine on credit to Mr. Mehta for 9,000 on 30th September 2016 was not entered in the books at all. The book value of the machine was 6,750. Fine. So point number 5. Mr. Mehta account debited 9,000 because he had purchased, the sale had been done for 9,000. What is the value of plant and machinery? The plant and machinery was valued at 6,750. So needs to be credited, and the difference, that is 2,250, is a profit on sale of machinery, would be transferred to P&L adjustment account. P&L adjustment account. I believe it is clear. Suspense account. We need to prepare suspense account now. Suspense account. Debit, credit. Just see the opening balance of suspense account in the question. 830 credit. Okay. So we will credit what? 830 by difference brought down 830. Now just check it over here. Mala and Lala, 2300 and 2300 would be credited. So we will credit by Mala and we will credit by Lala. 2300, 2300. Let's see entry number 2, P&L's adjustment to suspense. So over here, P&L adjustment to suspense. In suspense account, P&L adjustment will be shown in the credit side. So over here it will be by P&L adjustment 1240. Third entry, suspense is there 900. So in debit 900 will come under the name of P&L adjustment. To profit and loss adjustment account 900. Over here fourth, in debit side of the suspense account 8640 will come, 8640, and over here profit and loss adjustment account on the debit side. Fifth one, profit and loss adjustment is there but suspense is not there, so it will not come. Let's make totals of it. Let us do total of suspense account and see which side is more. As I can see, the debit side is more. 8640 plus 900, 9540 will be transferred to the credit side, and the difference is 2870 by balance carried down. By balance carried down. I believe it is clear. Let us make profit and loss adjustment account now. Profit and loss adjustment account. Profit and loss adjustment account. Debit. Credit. First entry there would be no entry of adjustment. On second entry we need to debit suspense by 1240. Debit suspense to suspense 1240. Third entry, profit and loss adjustment account is there. Machinery, that is 5600, and suspense, that is 900, will be recorded on the credit of P&L adjustment account. So we will write by machinery and we will write by suspense, that is 900 over here. Let's see the next entry. P&L adjustment credit 8640 in the name of suspense. By suspense 8640. Over here P&L adjustment is there, so P&L adjustment account is there, is entry number 5. So we will record it as Mr. Mehta on the credit side of P&L adjustment account 2250. 2250 by Mr. Mehta. I think it is clear. Let's total it now. Let's do a quick total. The total of credit side first. 5600 plus 900 plus 8640 plus 2250 The total is 17,390. 17,390 minus 1240. The balancing figure is 16,150. To balance carried down. I believe we understood till here. I believe it is clear till here. Okay. So question number 4. Question number 4 now. A merchant's trial balance as on June 30th, 2017 did not agree. The difference was put to suspense account. During the next trading period, the following errors were discovered. What was the errors? The first error, the total of purchase book of one page was 4,539 and was carried forward to the next page as 4,593. That means we had inflated the total. We had inflated the purchases, and due to inflation in the purchases, profit will fall down, profit will decrease. By what amount? By 4,539 minus 4,593 minus 4,539. The difference is 54. So we need to solve this error by crediting it into profit and loss adjustment account. Its entry would be suspense account will be debited and profit and loss adjustment account will be credited. Suspense account will be debited to profit and loss adjustment account 54. I hope it is clear. Let us see the second entry now. A sale of 573 was entered in the sales book as 753. So profit will inflate obviously, posted to the credit of the customer. A sale of 573 was entered in the sale book as 753 and posted to the credit of the customer. But over here, ideally the customer needs to be debited, but by mistake we have credited it, so we need to rectify. 753 minus 573. The difference is 753 minus 573. Okay. So we are solving this. Students, you should understand one thing, that we need to debit customer, but by mistake we have credited it. So it would be, so in the suspense account, what we will record? 753 plus 753, that is 1506, and profit is inflated, so we will adjust in profit and loss adjustment account 180. The difference, that is 1326, will be recorded here in the debit side. Let's start the third one. A return to creditor 510 was entered in the return inward book. Return to creditor, return outward, that is purchase return. We have recorded it as sale return. However, the creditor's account was correctly posted. The creditor's account was correctly posted. So basically, the error over here is, it is inflated by 510. So 510 plus 510 is 1020. We need to correct this error. How? The return inward was debited by 510 instead of return outward account being credited by 510. So we need to credit profit and loss adjustment account, over here. 510 double the amount, that is 1020, and 1020 will be off in goes where? To suspense account. I hope it is clear. Fourth is simple. Fifth you can do, and it is possible. Sixth is possible. Fine. So these three adjustments is homework. You can try by yourself. Okay. So students, we have covered this chapter, that is rectification of errors. Just take an overview. From the study mat, you have seen the types of errors. You have seen this chart. Steps to locate errors. Everything is done. Rectification of error is done. All the three methods, that is step 1, stage 2, stage 3, everything is covered. All the illustrations are also covered. The practical questions are also covered. Examples are also covered. And at last, we had also done the MCQs question as well as theoretical question along with the practical questions. So I think it is clear to all of you now. So we are winding up this class over here. Thank you. Thank you.